Okay, everyone, let's get our little meeting in order. So, redundant though it is, let me say hello, everyone, all over again. So, hello, wherever you are. I haven't said good morning or good evening because we're all in some ulta pulta style. So, hello, wherever you are. Anjum, there's a feedback on the thing, an echo.
It's gone now.
All right, yeah. So, welcome to our multilingual session. Every language is allowed here, no barriers whatsoever. Khushamdeed, Swagat, and welcome in any language you want. We have a veritable feast of poetry right across the board. We are truly honored to present today poets ranging from age 11. Excuse me, can I please ask everybody to mute their mics? So we have, each one is relevant. We have 9 poets performing, poets ranging from the age of 11 right across to 82. Each one is relevant and truly interesting. After each poet, we can have a brief discussion about the poem. Not to exceed more than 5 minutes. I don't have a bell, so when I clap, that means quiet. And hopefully peace will prevail. Don't fight with me, please, after that. Our first poet of the evening is our 11-year-old from Sanaa. She's in upper 3. She says, writing gives me wings. Now, isn't that absolutely beautiful? At 11, she writes both in Hindi and English. Today, she's going to read her poem, Meri Diary. Please give her a warm welcome. You may unmute yourselves for that much and give her a warm welcome. Srishti, please give a short introduction as to why you like writing poems and the encouragement from your teachers and from Sanaa. Please, Srishti,
Ma'am.
Over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. My name is Srishti Priya, and I'm a student of class upper 3B, which is 6th. And I'm an 11-year-old girl whose passion is to write. There are a number of things that I want to tell to people around, and according to me, the best thing is to pen them down for all to read. Writing gives me great pleasure and also helps me learn new ways of expressing myself. And in the past 2 years, I have developed fondness of writing poetry. Poetry is a great way for me to express my feelings and interests. I write both in English as well as Hindi. My writings are for pleasure as well as a specific purpose. Diary writing is also one of my interests and has become a part of my daily routine. I got inspired to write from my grandfather, Mr. Bharat Dogra, who is a freelance journalist, and from my father, who encourages me to write and gave me the idea of diary writing. Also, my favorite authors, Sudha Murthy and Ruskin Bond, are my source of inspiration. Writing gives me wings to soar high in the sky of imagination, and I feel blessed to be residing in the beautiful campus of Sanar in the lap of nature, always feeling inspired to express myself. Now I would like to express my poem on Meri Diary. कई दिनों से सोच रही थी, कविता लिखूं, कहानी लिख दूं कोई शायरी, पर नहीं कवित्री लेखक मैं कोई, तो चलो लिखूं मैं रोज रोज ही अपनी प्यारी डायरी। ख्वाबों और ख्यालों को दे दूं स्याही का रंग, ख्वाबों और ख्यालों को दे दूं स्याही का रंग, डायरी बन गई मेरा दर्पण, मेरी जिंदगी का अभिन्न अंग। डायरी मेरी प्रिय सहेली, साझा करूं मैं सारे राज, इसके पन्नों में बिखरे हैं मेरे सुख दुख कल और आज। यौवन की दहलीज पार जब हो जाऊंगी बचपन की, यौवन की दहलीज पार जब हो जाऊंगी बचपन की, डायरी याद कराएगी तब मुझको मेरे बचपन की। याद आएंगे बान फील्ड में क्रिकेट खेलने के वे दिन, याद आएंगे बान फील्ड में क्रिकेट खेलने के वे दिन, याद आएंगे स्क्वायर हॉल में बीते वह मस्ती के दिन, गिल्लू के पीछे दौड़ लगाना और पिल्लों को दूध पिलाना, बरसातों में पेड़ लगाना, जीवन अधूरा जिनके बिन। शाने काव्य काठी रोल. For the audience, shane is a kind of eating joint, and all the Sanarians love eating her shane. शाने काव्य काठी रोल, स्वाद जिसका था अनमोल, नानी के राजमा, नानू की कहानियां, जो तबीयत मेरी बिगड़ जाए तो मम्मी की परेशानियां, पाकर पापा का प्यार दुलार, उठता सुखी मेरा संसार, जब दोस्तों से हो जाती अनबन और बुझा बुझा सा होता मन, मेरी डायरी मुझे बुलाती है, फिर मेरा मन बहलाती है, मैं लिख लिख उससे बातें करती हूँ, अपना संकल्प हवाले करती हूँ, डायरी लेखन बना रहेगा आजीवन मेरी चाह, हर मोड़ पर मुझको दिलाएगी अच्छी वाली राह, हर मोड़ पर मुझको दिलाएगी अच्छी वाली राह. धन्यवाद.
You can all unmute yourself and ask Srishti some questions and discuss her poem. Who would like to go first?
Very nice.
Srishti, first of all, I want to congratulate you on your maturity of oration. It is exemplary the way you kind of recited this poem. I could feel everything you were talking about. So, I mean, I think now when I've heard this poem, I feel like you're far more mature than half of us here. So I don't know if I want to recite it either, but
Most
this is
of
a
us.
beautiful poem.
And Srishti, the kathi roll sounded so interesting. Next time I come to Sana, I have to have kathi rolls.
I'm having your Nani's Rajma.
Srishti, so what is your inspiration when you write? Do you write every day?
Ma'am, diary writing, as I told you, I do it every day. It's part of my daily routine. And usually when I usually like during the holidays or something, whenever I'm free, I usually write because I feel like writing. And whatever comes into my mind, I want to express it. Whatever is interesting, and if I develop a new interest, so I would like to express it in form of poetry or any form of writing.
Okay, and tonight, how long are you allowed to be out? How long can you stay with us?
Until 10, I think. I can see.
You think, are you allowed, or are you supposed to be in bed by now?
I'm allowed.
All right, then it's okay. Then you can enjoy other people's poems as well. And we really enjoyed your poetry. You're going to go very far. We are very proud of you. And well, I think once again, please unmute your mics and give her a big round of applause. She really, really deserves it.
Can I say one thing, Vinay?
Yeah.
Please do.
Yeah.
Please.
Well done,
Yeah,
Srishti.
yeah, Srishti, I think you started by saying that, I mean, I'm forgetting now, I don't have that much of a recall, but you said, मैं इतनी अच्छी कवित्री नहीं, or something like that, that I'm not that great a poet. That is an absolute falsehood. After hearing you, I can tell you one thing, I don't know about others, there are many solid poets like, I can see, Amrita, Justice, and Vinay and co. But you have given me an absolute inferiority complex. I can tell you that. Honestly.
Thank you, sir. Thank
Honestly.
you.
Well done. Excellent point.
Thank
Srishti,
you, sir.
one question for you. Srishti, where do you like to sit when you write poetry?
So usually because we have such a beautiful campus, I'd even mentioned it. So I like to sit outside because in the fresh air and this lovely atmosphere, I get more ideas, right?
Okay, why I asked you this question is there's a very nice grove which has been done up. It's got all the solitude called the Warriors Grove. It's been redone up. So that's one place where you can get lost and still be within Sanaa. And
Yes.
let's see you write a nice poetry by sitting there sometimes.
Yes, sir, sure.
Please, everybody mute your mics again. Let me introduce the next poet, Amrita, who needs no introduction. Besides her infectious laugh, her very sharp perception of poetry is pleasing. On our instant poetry sessions, she is quick and was named by Abdo as QGM, Quick Gun Murugan, and she lives up to it. Amrita is reading an English poem. Amrita, please introduce the poem and the inspiration behind it.
Thank you, Vinay. I think you guys give me too much credit, but I'm happy to be in this group because it is so encouraging and all, we have the freedom to write and do as we please, which is essential for any creative act to happen. But coming to the poem itself, the poem is called Blank. Usually my poetry is affected by what I see around me and what I sense. Also, it is generic with how humans perceive and work through circumstances. So this work is called Blank, and it has a layering within it, which is also personal. And at the same time, there is a certain philosophical tangent towards the cycles of life. So I don't know if it is morose or if it is upbeat, but I felt it and I wrote it. So here goes nothing. Blank. I draw a blank. The pen writes on paper, but I draw a blank. The cycle of seasons and waves wash over. People come and go and pass over. I draw a blank. The meaning of life is living, not just existing, but actually living. The luxuries, entitlements, whether drunk or sober, with grace in one's life hovers, the story is not yet over. To write, you need a medium. To speak, you need that too. To read, you need writing. Wise words scribbled on the pages, even one or two. In the space of nothingness, there is a road tread by a few. That is the space of just being and living. An adventure every day. Today, tomorrow's, telling the tales to carry forward, a generation or two, a fire ignited, being who we are, scratching the slate again, blank, anew. Thank you.
Excellent. That was a very nice poem because it's a very difficult thing to write about blank. It's always otherwise something which is full. A blank is a tough call to have. So all of you can unmute yourselves and ask Amrita questions. And Amrita, tell us where this was coming from. What was your inspiration?
So, as you know, my life lately has been quite a bit of a tumult, and it's been very hectic. But there's also been this last couple of years where things have changed so drastically around the world, and we've seen a lot more than we should have to. And also just thinking about something which, like, for example, we've seen people passing. We've seen, people's jobs going. We've seen a lot of different things. And you think, things are just falling apart. What's happening, right? Everything which was there is no more there. And then you think, okay, so this is a blank thing, but there is you need to gestate that emotion which you have, which is basically either it's sadness, grief, whatever else. But in that itself, because it is blank, it is also the same page, which is the starting of a new thing. And to come to that cycle, you have to go through those spaces, whether it is, sometimes you have a writer's block and you're trying to write and you can't write because something is not letting you. And you just keep going. And then one fine day it comes. So I don't know. I mean, it's also on a daily level. I see it. I also see it, when I see people around me, I also see it in the larger scope of life. So that's where it's coming from.
Would anybody like to ask Amrita a few questions? Go ahead, Pankaj.
We are all scared of asking her.
No, I don't want to ask a question, but uh,
Make a remark.
my take on that blank was uh, taking a moment to introspect, you know. So
Correct.
that was my take on that. It was
Correct. So
very well done.
thank you. It is just that moment where the transition is about to happen, and that moment we don't give credit to, but that is the space.
Yeah,
That is the
Absolutely.
that takes us forward actually.
Yeah.
correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Wonderful.
Really
Anybody
nice.
else?
I just want to say that blank is a perfect summing up of this year and last couple of years, because we have no idea what's happening, what we are doing, and that is something I've sensed in a lot of people, even if we've not been affected directly by what's going on, but it's kind of left us a little dazed and
Shaken.
confused in some ways.
Send them to Sana.
That kind of
And make them aware.
yes. Well done, Amrita. Very nice. That's
Very nice, Amrita. Indeed. Thank you. Really enjoyed that one.
thanks.
Okay, well, we've started something new. I think perhaps we can carry on with it. Is that having a guest poet who is not a Sanarian? Rajiv introduced Shrey, who's our guest poet tonight. He's a law student. And as I said, has been discovered by our very own Justice Rajiv Bhalla. Shrey will read in Hindi. Shrey, please give us a short intro and tell us the inspiration behind your poem.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. So I have been very inspired by my constitution. I have every time like after my 12th, I wanted to pursue law, and the constitution gave me a shiver in my body when I used to look at the articles and how it was made. But when I entered into law, and now presently when I am in my third year, I started to look closely to my constitution, and I particularly looked at the people who actually laid down their lives for our nation. Hundreds and lakhs of people who are actually behind our constitution. And I'm not particularly mentioning the people who wrote down the constitution, but people who actually laid down the lives while making our India freedom. So this was the motivation of my poem. And on 26th November, that is our Law Day or the Constitution Day, I wrote this like a month or a few months back with my mom. She encourages me to write, and she also helps me and corrects me whenever I am wrong. So she was the inspiration, and also the Constitution is my biggest power at the present. So, ma'am, if you allow me, I can recite my poem.
Please go for it, Shrey. We're waiting.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So जैसे कि आप सब जानते हैं कि हमारा संविधान दिवस 26 नवंबर को बना था। हमको 26 नवंबर संविधान दिवस के रूप में हम जानते हैं। तो हम जैसे जानते हैं कि हमारा संविधान हमारी देश की आन बान शान है। सो इसी पंक्ति से मैं शुरुआत करता हूं, जरा गौर फरमाइएगा। देश की आन बान शान है, देश का सर्वोच्च विधान है, हर नागरिक की मुस्कान है, यह भारत का संविधान है। धर्म कर्म की स्वतंत्रता, अरे धर्म कर्म की स्वतंत्रता में सबको समता का अधिकार है, सबको अवसर अधिकारों की गारंटी देता ये संविधान है। सुख समृद्धि हेतु राष्ट्र की होंगे सारे ही प्रयास, भारत की सब संतानों को देता ये पूरा विश्वास। दर्जनों भाषा सैकड़ों विधि हजारों विधान है, जो जोड़कर सबको साथ रखे वही तो संविधान है। शहीदों की लहू की स्याही से ये संविधान बना है, हर दिन संभाल कर रखा है यारो, मेरा देश महान बना है। इसने तो उपहार दिए हैं, मौलिक भी अधिकार दिए हैं, धर्म कर्म संसार दिए हैं, जीने के अधिकार दिए हैं। ये भारत का संविधान है मित्रों, ये भारत का संविधान है। ये शक्ति का अमर गर्व है, आजादी का विजय पर्व है, कर्तव्यों का अभिनंदन है, अधिकारों का संबोधन है। ये मेरा अभिमान है, ये भारत का संविधान है। और अंत में मैं यही कहूंगा, संविधान ही है, संविधान ही है जो इस देश को चलाता है, संविधान ही है जो बुराई को डराता है। ये बलिदानों का चंदन है, बाबा भीमराव का मन है। इसलिए मित्रों, संविधान को हिफाजत करना हमारा काम है। जो चलन में ना हो उसे बदलना हमारा काम है, क्योंकि हर रंग खुद में समेटे, हर रंग खुद में समेटे जो बेखौफ लड़ा है, जाति धर्म के दायरे से जो आगे बढ़ा है। नैतिक निष्पक्ष संविधान ही है वो जो अपनी चिता पर भी आज सहज खड़ा है, जो अपनी चिता पर भी आज सहज खड़ा है, सहज खड़ा है। धन्यवाद।
That was really very, very inspiring and very nice. And most of us are really not aware of our constitution as such. You know, we are not lawyers or legally, we haven't gone through it. But after hearing you, one feels that it's about time we paid it some attention, or at least the preamble, if nothing else.
And before asking him a question, some of you did hear me the other day on why Shreya was here.
Yeah.
2 days ago, we celebrated the 72nd year of the adoption of the Constitution. And I was speaking at their college through a virtual mode in Lavasa. And the moment I finished, one of their professors said, there's a boy who's written a poem. Do you want to hear him? So I said, well, I come from a poetry circle, so time for me to hear him. Therefore, he narrated this. And what he's trying to tell you, and I think Shreya will agree, and I'll ask him a question also. Basically, what the Constitution is, we the people. And I made a request that day to everybody in the lecturers also that, okay, you have a prayer in schools, colleges, meetings. So please at least start with we the people. And remember, it's you the people. So Shreya, can you just explain something to them? Why did you write this poem?
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. So it's actually the power is given from and taken from we the people. It's not a single person. It's not a single body or anything. It's we the people. The power is derived from we the people. And when all of us, all Indians and everyone look at our constitution, we see a striving of power in our constitution. It's the ball of power, and all the power which each and everybody in each and every person gets is we the people. So basically the preamble which is written so good is and has been derived from obviously not going on the law terms, but the main word we the people. Sir also emphasized in the lecture that we the people holds the most and the utmost importance in our day-to-day life, I would say.
Any other questions? General?
Anybody else would like to ask them? Amrita, go ahead.
I just have a comment. I think Shreya, very well spoken, very well recited. I think everyone over here would have been, most warmly affected. And coming from a young person like you, I think that's a lesson I'm taking. I'm so happy that young people like you, it's such a powerful document. I think just reading the preamble is better than reading any of the scriptures, actually. If you go to a library and pick up the Indian Constitution and read the preamble, I think that sets you thinking of many things. And of course, just to add, since you're doing law and all that, each page is actually painted and handwritten, and on the sides, the borders, such lovely artwork has been done. People have really got involved in writing that document. And I'm very happy that what Justice said is that look, if only once a week, if during the morning assembly you started with "We the People" or read
This
a
is
part of
it's a very good idea, I must say. I think Himmat should be told about, requested to do something like this.
There was
Amrita,
something,
you wanted to say something?
yeah, there were two things I wanted to say actually. One was when he was reciting it, the passionate voice with which he was reciting it. You could feel what he was trying to say. And, the thought which came to me was that, just like people, nations also have personalities. And the Constitution makes that character, that personality. And for us, I think the personality of what we are as Indian, and when we go outside and we say Indian, it comes from this very constitution. The other thing which I wanted to, just add to it, because I come from art, is that in that time, and then that constitution was made, as General Malhotra was saying, and the interesting fact is, in a time when largely you had in professional painting, you had male artists, you have 5 female artists who have painted in the Constitution. So I can send you a little snippet on that as well. But basically the fact that they believed and they actually put that and worked on it simultaneously, not just as a document, but as the same, the same passionate voice, which I see Shrey, deliberating on today. So I think somewhere this Constitution has not dimmed or died down, because if he can still not, we've heard from our grandparents how the nation kind of got its independence, etc. For generations passing, the only way forward is that paper. So thank you, Sharif, for introducing us to this wonderful thought.
Can I
Amrita,
add something,
Amrita,
after you finish? Can I
Amrita,
just add something? If anybody is interested in seeing the original copy of the Constitution, I will invite them to Chandigarh, to the museum in the Punjab Haryana High Court, which fortunately I had the occasion to create, curate, and to set up. And we have original copy over there. You can come and see all the illustrations. And if
We'd
you're
love
all
to.
interested, you can also go and see the original papers of the trial of Bhagat Singh also there. We have it in
We would love to do that. We would love to.
Vinay, can I say one thing? Can I just say one quick thing?
Yes, please do.
Or I have 5 minutes over. Yeah, I'm scared of you also. Okay, what I was going to say is two points. One is about the poetry and the poem itself. I think it was a very good poem and recited very well, as Amrita just said, and that added to it. But my second thing is nothing to do with what his poem was, but it's more about, the Constitution we've all said was written for A, B, C, D reason. The sad part is it is not being followed today. Reading is one part, but it is in many places, some segments of the Constitution are being blatantly violated. We all know that. And that's the sad part. It's not good enough to have a Constitution. You have to follow it. In this country, we are not following it. You try that in America and you'll be cooked. You'll be somewhere else. Huh?
Okay, we will leave that discussion for another day, and where we will only talk about the Constitution. Pankaj, I think you wanted to say something.
I'll let it pass, ma'am.
Pankaj has had his chota.
Okay. Anyway, so let's move on. Later on, we can open the floor and we can have a general discussion. But let's move on now. Namrata is our next poet. Namrata is from the 93 batch. She's a multifaceted person. She runs a very successful garment business, besides being deeply into Reiki and spiritualism. Namrata will read in Hindi. Namrata, do tell us a little bit about yourself and the inspiration behind your poem.
Ma'am, I'm going to read 2 poems together, or one now and one later?
Now, I think it would be, you said you were in a hurry to leave after this.
Yeah, okay.
So then it'd be better if you read both of them.
Should I read out both of them?
Yes, please do.
Okay. The title of my poem is What's in a Name. I wrote this poem while pondering upon the thought that although we all have different names, nationalities, religions, nomenclatures, eventually all of us are made of all the 5 elements. Despite our differences, we are all the same. So without any further ado, here is my short poem, which is published by the US journal spillwords.com. What's in a name? Few share the same. Some have a meaning. Others may define a feeling. Does it show one's identity? Or maybe reflect upon an affinity, a congruence of one's culture, the definition of a sculpture. The resemblance very apparent. Some bring shame, though many bring glory to the family name. Why set the barriers of a name when we are all eventually the same? Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Read your second one.
The short and sweet.
Okay. The second one is in Hindi.
Then we'll discuss both of them.
All right. Okay. The second one is in Hindi. And this one, I was inspired to write this poem after talking to a friend of mine. He was posted on the Indo-Pakistan border. And just by looking at his pictures on Facebook, etc., I could only fathom the hardship that they all go through, along with, braving the weather, the enemy. So here it goes. I don't have a title to this poem. Maybe all of you can suggest something. सफेद बर्फ से ढकी वादियों में कपकपाती हुई ठंड में सरहदों की निगहबानी में वतन की सुरक्षा की पहरेदारी में उस वीर सिपाही से पूछो अनगिनत कुर्बानियां बूझो परिवार की खुशी से दूर मुश्किलें उसकी भरपूर जान को हथेली पे लिए हुए कर्तव्य की राह पर अग्रसर हुए तुम्हारी वीरता को कोटि कोटि नमन तुम्हारी बदौलत है देश में अमन. Thank you.
That was very nice, very good
Thank
indeed.
you.
And about the poem about your name, about a name.
Yeah.
You know, all of us go through, I don't know, we are all given names by our parents. I don't know how many of us are happy with the names given by our parents. I wasn't. My name was Veena, and I could not think of myself as a Veena. I felt that I had to sit down with a sitar or a Veena and start strumming immediately. So I went to the school office and said, I want to change my name, and became Vinay. Unfortunately, never realizing that Vinay and my voice is two things which are not going to go together. But anyway, what I mean to say is that yes, a name by any other name is not as sweet. And I leave the floor open for discussion on your poem. Both the poems are beautiful.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
I like the depth, even though it looks like a simple poem, the poem on the name, but I like the depth with which you kind of thought that those lines through, because it is the central part of who we are. And sometimes, like for example, I just say my name is Amrita Varma, but my association with art and my passion with art has been so intense that when I look at my name, I actually think of, Amrita Shergill and Raja Ravi Varma. And that's how, when people don't understand the alphabets of my name, I'm like,
fabulous.
Find both. So
nice
association. It's amazing.
Oh, that's a wonderful connection with two very famous
I must say.
artists. Wonderful connection.
Otherwise, sir, what happens is I'm in Bangalore and sometimes they write AMRUTHA and sometimes, I don't know, Varma becomes VE and all those things happen. When I say this, everyone spells it right.
Oh, lovely.
But Amrita, you've been given one more name.
Hanji, sir?
I said you've been given one more name now. Oh.
Yes,
QGM.
I know, and the short form is Q.
Yeah.
I'm actually...
But Namrata, what I like about her poems is They are short and sweet. Bas,
Thank you,
chota,
sir. Thank you.
all of them.
And they're very much,
Last,
they're very to the point.
I have
They're
not
very much
forgotten
to
the
the
last
point.
time. Shabd, I still remember. Shabd, remember?
Yes, sir.
वो भी बड़ा छोटा सा था.
सभी छोटे से होते हैं, sir. I don't know why I can't
by-
write long
you know
ones.
what happens?
हाँ जी.
You know, I have noticed when she when she recites, what happens is I am still waiting for the next verse, and then suddenly you see there's a pause. It's finished. So she takes us by surprise, but very good. Well done. Good show.
Thank you, sir.
That was very good.
Yeah, and then the second poem, the Hindi poem, I like the way you could visualize the landscapes and also the mindscapes of what you were talking of. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Amrita. Thank you so much.
Rajiv, you'd like to say something?
Vinay, can I just? There's one of us over here who would just like him to switch his camera on. That's Moppy Sekho Nilgiri 97. He's he's from Dehradun. Moppy, can you please put your mic on and your camera on also? He's not listening to me, I think.
Moppy, please put your. There you are. Oh, hi, Moppy.
Yeah. He hosted us in that camps and hikes at.
Oh, lucky you.
So
all of you.
He is the guy who, if you want to go towards Rishikesh, so he'll organize everything. So anybody wants to go for rafting, and actually, remember we had said we'll have a poetry session over there, but we didn't have that.
Thankfully.
So, Moppy, don't go off camera, please.
Because
We'd like to see you around here.
So,
Moppy, well done
welcome,
again.
Moppy, to this session and hope.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Always listening.
Moppy, cheers.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's move on. Everybody mute your mics again.
Cheers, yeah.
So now it gives me great pleasure to welcome Balbir of the 1955 batch. Young and sprightly, he belies his years. Balbir is reading a poem in Hindustani. The stage is all yours, Balbir. A short intro and inspiration behind your poem, please. It really would be very welcome. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. You are muted.
Better?
Yes. Yeah. Just talk a little loudly.
Introduction wise, veteran of many retirements, engineer by profession, part-time rhymester. The spirit of Sanar remains imbued in very fugitive moments even, that you cannot forget the people who were your compatriots, your हमदर्द, और कुछ समय के लिए हम कदम भी थे, तो वो यादाश्त तो रहती है. Young and sprightly, I don't know, the gray hairs will belie your description, but let the poem speak for itself, if I may. यादों को सीने लगाए मैं बैठा, यादों को सीने लगाए मैं बैठा, लफ्ज़ों की महफिल सजाता रहा हूँ, बेसुरे सुर में कुछ गुनगुनाता रहा हूँ, मैं लफ्ज़ों की महफिल सजाता रहा हूँ. यादों को सीने लगाए मैं बैठा, लफ्ज़ों की महफिल सजाता रहा हूँ. उमंगों की वो आहट, उमंगों की वो आहट, हर आहट हिचकिचाहट, नजरों के तराने थे बस सिर्फ अफसाने. उमंगों की वो आहट, हर आहट हिचकिचाहट, नजरों के तराने थे सिर्फ अफसाने. वीरान उमंगों की आगोश में मैं, वीरान उमंगों की आगोश में मैं, रिश्ते वफा के निभाता रहा हूँ, मैं लफ्ज़ों की महफिल सजाता रहा हूँ, बेसुरे सुर में कुछ गुनगुनाता रहा हूँ, मैं रिश्ते वफा के निभाता रहा हूँ। आखिरी बंद है। आरज़ुएं आसमानी, आरज़ुएं आसमानी थी मुझसे बेगानी, चाहत की खुमारी न हमने संवारी। आरज़ुएं आसमानी थी मुझसे बेगानी, चाहत की खुमारी न हमने संवारी। अरमानों के अंधियारे आंगन में मैं, अरमानों के अंधियारे आंगन में मैं उम्मीदों के दीपक जलाता रहा हूँ, मैं रिश्ते वफा के निभाता रहा हूँ। यादों को सीने लगाए मैं बैठा, लफ्ज़ों की महफिल सजाता रहा हूँ, उम्मीदों के दीपक जलाता रहा हूँ, मैं रिश्ते वफा के निभाता रहा हूँ। एक शुक्रिया।
वाह वाह और वाह, बहुत 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 वाह।
Amazing. This was beautiful.
Thank you.
बहुत मजा आया सुन के।
This is like Kafi and Sahir met and talked to each other.
नहीं नहीं, ऐसा मत कहिए, ऐसा मत कहिए।
अच्छा
It was
चलो हम
really
कहते नहीं, ऐसे कहते कि बलबीर ने आज हमारा समा बहुत बांध दिया। बहुत मजा आया बलबीर।
Thank you.
We enjoyed it thoroughly.
It was, all I can say is I am a little, what should I say? I'm not, no, I'm not very conversant with so many of the words which were used. But let me say one thing, that the way it flowed, it was just too good. The theme itself, I mean, the whole thing was too good. The first 3 or 4 words set the tone for what is going to follow. You look for the next sentence and the next one and the next one. So excellent, too good.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I also wanted to say that with regards to this poem, when I was, when you were reciting it, I felt like I was on a journey with you.
Yeah.
So
Wow. Fellow
thank
traveler.
you so much.
and it had that feel of मैं जिंदगी का साथ निभाता चला गया.
And
Yeah,
the
very true.
lyrical way.
It had a lyric to it. It had an
Yeah.
absolutely lyrical thing to it. And
Vinay, just one thing, nothing to do with will everybody be sharing this poetry on the group somewhere?
we've recorded it anyway, but yeah, we can start putting our poems on. Only thing, it becomes a huge folder for us to put 9 poems every time together.
Yeah, agreed. Okay.
We can think of something. We haven't given it thought, but let's think of something how we can do it. Perhaps create a separate folder and put it in.
Just
But
a
they're
thought.
always.
Just a thought. The group can come up with a annual edition of selected poems.
Yes, that is a good idea. That's a good idea. And also, it's always available to you on Facebook. Sorry, not Facebook, YouTube. On YouTube. Anjum will be uploading it to YouTube. Okay, so let's proceed.
And sorry, ma'am. When it's put on YouTube, we post the link of that video onto the website, so it's archived there too.
Oh, great. Wonderful. Can you all mute yourselves again, please? Okay, so here we come with the next one. Here comes Aradhya Akshat of the 2003 batch. Aradhya is a published author. His book is called A Life Afloat. It's a travel book. The first few chapters are about Sanaa. Akshat, do tell us a bit about your YouTube and insatire.com. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Insatire.com and your inspiration behind the poem. Aradhya, over to you.
It's really great to see so many familiar faces once again, as well as new ones. Young blood is always nice to have in creative pursuits. So very nice to see you, Srishti. Very nice to hear your, thoughts expressed in verse, and the same to Shrey as well. Shrey is obviously, deserving of our kudos even more because he's tackling something which affects us at a personal level, even though we don't realize it. The poem that I'm going to recite was birthed from an interaction I had with somebody who expressed themselves in person very well, but they found it really hard to put themselves out there in the world. So I won't obviously like to give away anyone's identity, but this person felt put upon by the corporate life they were living, by the kind of constraints that were put upon them by, not by society, but kind of by themselves, because they were kind of restraining themselves more rather than other people, putting them under pressure. So the poem is called Ignore the Naysayers. And with your permission, I will continue with reciting it.
Go for it.
You are drowned out because you are part of the crowd. To be heard away from the herd, you have to be loud. Make your mark, establish your name, embellish your game to garner more fame. Leave controversy to those who do it. Make waves without contributing to it. Wave the naysayers away like the flies they are, temporary like our existence as we go around a star. Still, you have to make it out of the mire. Never give in till you get what you desire. The world is there to cubicle you away. Break away from the chains and slip away. All is good till we are alive. Staying alive means taking a dive. Climb to the surface, inhale, and when you're out of patience, exhale. Thank you.
Excellent.
Beautiful.
The floor is open. Please ask questions.
Raja, you will make a very good motivational speaker.
Yeah, the poem had a healing quality to it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
very
sir.
well
Thank
said.
you, Amrita.
Thanks. That was lovely.
That really was very good and inspiring.
Just a thought. It started off a little aggressively, but it calmed down very well.
Thank you so much, sir.
Just like Cenarians.
No. It was like burn the world down, and then it was realize and move on.
More like Nilgarians, not Cenarians, Nilgarians.
No way. Sorry.
Vindhyans are cool.
Sorry, as a Sivalikon, I'm ready to burn the world down anytime.
Sivalikans only do house parties and socials.
No, but we love we live our life, yeah.
Yeah.
You.
That's what I'm saying.
We like to live our life. Live it up.
Zafar is hearing very intently. He's a Shivalikan.
Zafar.
This line.
We are co-Sivalikans.
मैं साथ निभाता चला हूँ. It could end also. It's kind of resonating in this as well.
Actually, it resonates in most poems. If you think about it, that all of us are always wanting to move on. Yeah. None of us have the depressing feeling of really being in the past and crying over it and all. We are intrepid scenarios, always ready to move on.
Yeah.
So move on we shall.
Akshat,
can
I make us comment, call it a comment or a suggestion?
Yes, please.
I think you got to round your poem out.
I shall certainly give it more. I shall certainly work on it more, sir. Thank you so much.
It's left. Sometimes it's very good to leave a thing hanging there for everybody to decide what they want to think about it. But I think since you talked about the corporate world, etc., so I think you should have taken it to its logical end.
I shall try and give it my version of an ending, sir. But like you rightly said, it's very nice to leave questions hanging at the end so that other people can interpret it in their own way. And
I thought I was going to expect a burnout of the corporate world or something like that. Somebody burning out in the corporate world. That's okay. Because you started in that way, no? Because there are lots of people here who are from the corporate world and who
Rajiv,
have.
this is Rajiv. I'm very glad that you brought this up. I won't say everybody, but yes, people should do a little critiquing of poems as well. All of us are not perfect, and we should definitely be told, perhaps, that somewhere along the line you could change it around a little bit. Not change the thought, but perhaps just change the way of doing it.
Absolutely.
No, I think it's a very original sort of thought because nobody's ever, I haven't heard anybody reciting or writing on what he's written.
Yes.
Therefore, I want him to take it a little further down the track.
And
that's the idea.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Vinay, you have something on the chat box. So if you'd like to see that, there's something in the chat box from a parent. I think we could invite him for the next guest, as the next guest for a poetry session to recite.
Okay, I shall read this later on. Let me take a photograph of it so that I don't lose it. All right.
The gentleman with the V, I think.
Yes. So
yes, Vashish. Okay, we'll move on and we'll leave the floor open later on for everybody. And now comes our very own Rajiv Bhalla, an erstwhile judge of the Punjab High Court. Punjab and Haryana High Court?
Yeah, I think you'll have to combine both of them.
Okay, Punjab and Haryana High Court. He's not leaving anything out. Do mute your mics otherwise, please. A very fair and square person, always a bit disturbed about the challenges faced by people. He is full of ideas and inspires many of us by highlighting a situation. RB, the stage is yours. Tell us the inspiration behind your poem.
Thank you. Actually, I have two poems, but both are a work in progress. One I will not recite. It's called Rab. It's in Punjabi because when I came to the main portion of it, our entire Zoom meeting collapsed. So I think I leave that out because God got angry with me in that. And Pankaj said,
do it. Read it.
No, there's another one which which again has an equally, I would call it dark, weird, whatever thought. It's called Bandh Hoon Ik Trunk Mein. So I'm going to read on that. The concept of that is that how we put ourselves into corners or cages and then refuse to get out of that. And all of us are captive or hostage to our own, call it insecurities or call them whatever you like. We just refuse to get out of that. So that bandhu trunk is the person in the trunk, somebody asking him to come out, and whether he refuses or not, that's how the poem ends. So I'll just take it away from there. And if there is time and the Zoom network doesn't collapse, then I'll read that the Punjabi one which I've written. So I'll just start with Bandhu. Bandhu एक अंधेरे ट्रंक में, आप चाहे ट्रंक को कमरा समझिए या ट्रंक को अपने आप को समझिए, लेकिन हम सब बंद हैं एक ट्रंक में। रोशनी से, हवा से तुम्हारी, सुबह से तुम्हारी डर लगता है। ये अब आपकी मर्जी है इसको कैसे आप समझें। हवा से तुम्हारी, सुबह से डर लगता है, रोशनी से ये काली चादर लगती है अपनी, ये अंधेरा ही हिफाजत, छुपा हूं इस चादर में, क्यों बाहर आऊं। I'll repeat a few sentences here and there. ये अंधेरा ही हिफाजत, this is most of our mental makeup is like that. छुपा हूं इस चादर में, क्यों बाहर निकलूं? Now there's a reply in this poem. क्या है तुम्हारा वजूद? The person asks him, क्या है तुम्हारा वजूद? For those who are difficult in understanding that who are you, what is your status? Na roshni na hawa. He's telling the person in the trunk, means in your mind, in your cage. लिपटे हो उसी पुरानी चादर में, छुपे हो उसी अंधेरे में, और हिफाजत हवा को, किसी की धड़कन को, सांसों को, आवाज को, आहट को महसूस तो करो। हवा को, किसी की धड़कन को, आवाज को, आहट को महसूस तो करो। अपने इस पिंजरे से, I'll use a stronger expression, अपनी इस कब्र से, अपने इस ट्रंक से बाहर तो निकलो। अपनी इस कब्र से, अपने इस ट्रंक से बाहर तो निकलो। We all end up digging our own graves thinking we are in a space which protects us, where we feel safe. So the retort from the person is what I have written and what I think a normal person would retort who doesn't want to take a risk. क्यों निकलूं इस अंधेरे, क्यों निकलूं इस अंधेरे से, ये जाना पहचाना लगता है। तुम्हारा सवेरा आए या ना आए, तुम्हारा सवेरा आए या ना आए, ट्रंक के अंधेरे में हिफाजत लगती है। सुकून है मेरा इस ट्रंक के पिंजरे में, क्यों निकलूं इस पिंजरे से। तुम्हारी सुबह झूठी भी तो हो सकती है, तुम्हारी सुबह झूठी भी तो हो सकती है। तुम अपनी सुबह उगाओ, मैं अपने पिंजरे में हिफाजत से हूं। That's all. Thank you.
Nice, sir.
Rajiv, that was very good, very profound, very, very deep.
Yeah,
I'll let the others ask questions.
See, I've kept it in. You can have another retort. Somebody can write a fourth line stanza.
Sir, when I heard this poem, there were three things which sharply came out. One was insecurities, fear, and this inability to get out of yourself to discover a bigger world. So it's a very psychological poem to me.
Actually, can I just explain a little bit more? I didn't want to use the word. But this is for all those who have mental health issues. Basically, this poem was written in the context of somebody who had some problems, and this is how he explained it to me.
Okay.
That I am secure in my world. Why are you asking me to come out? So that's how this is how it evolved.
Very right. Actually, very right.
I may not get the words correct or something. I may have used some words for effect. But
no. So you could make out, and I like the fact that you were looking at you personalized that feeling, that association, and also were showing both sides in some way, because there is a world outside, but you're personalizing that feeling at that moment for whoever you were talking of, sir. So you could almost feel it like it was you yourself,
And by the way, this all refers to the trunk we used to take to school.
नहीं,
on a lighter note.
Yes, and so when you said cover, I said, "Bas, ab वापस वहीं पे आएंगे हम."
Then you realize where it is going.
Yes, sir.
That's how I write, and I like to write like this. So,
Rajiv,
would somebody like to ask some questions?
राजीव, इसी कॉन्टेक्स्ट में कहीं मैंने लाइन पढ़ी थी, तुम्हारे उजालों से डरता हूँ। कहाँ पढ़ी थी, कहाँ सुनी थी? बट गिव्स कॉन्टेक्स्ट व्हाट यू रोट। तुम्हारे उजाले जो हैं, तुम्हारे लिए उजाले हैं, मेरे लिए अंधेरों से बड़े अंधेरे हैं तुम्हारे उजाले.
There is one more sentence which I have written, which I didn't add into this. It goes like this. I'm sorry, can I just narrate a few sentences in the context of what you've said? अंधेरे की चीखती खामोशी. I deleted it from this. रोशनी का शोर भी चुपता है. This was to come later inside this.
Wow.
But this is another poem. क्या करूं हवा की सर्द गर्मी, फलक को चीरती शमशीर, अंधेरे के शोर से निजात ना देगे. This is another person who's mental health issues. So this is these are poems actually maybe not exactly for this evening, but then it goes like this. क्या मर जाऊंगा यूं ही इस अंधेरे में, इस खामोशी में. That's how it ends. It's still a work in progress. I'll probably do it some other time.
You know, Rajiv, what you just said, no, what you just now said,
yes, sir.
I think you can actually add it to the poem. It'll fit in. You don't have to take it out. It fits in. No, honestly, it'll fit in. It is going with the same theme.
The idea is a little bit of madness always does somebody good.
So
Yeah, we all a
poetry
little
is
mad.
about all perspectives. It's not just happiness. Poetry is about all perspectives in life. So.
And we all are a little mad, you know. All of us. It's a little crazy.
But on a lighter note, sir, start meeting happier people.
No. You, Pankaj, that's the dichotomy in me. I write dark, but I think probably I laugh the most.
Well,
by the way, no, not only that. When he's reciting a dark poem, he's smiling. That's the best part. So he's got both sides of it.
Rajiv,
Pankaj, no
can I recite a share in support of your contention?
Yes, sir. Please do.
Please do.
बहारे ज़ीस्त की रंगीनियां उन्हीं से हैं. बहारे ज़ीस्त की रंगीनियां उन्हीं से हैं जिन्होंने ज़ब्त के कांटों से दिल के चाक सिए.
वाह,
वेरी गुड.
वाह.
तो रंगीनियां आपकी हैं, रंगीनियों में कई शेड्स हैं.
वही अंधेरों से निकलती है क्रिएटिविटी, और उन्हीं अंधेरों से हम गुजर के एक बेहतर इंसान बनते हैं.
Can you see the common thread of pain with Nilgarians?
Listen, we are not flippant. We are not flippant like Himalayans.
I know.
Listen, time to move on.
Better for them to be in pain than be pain in the.
time to
poem
move
in the
on.
pain.
Vinay, am I only seeing some disturbance, or is it?
There is a little disturbance. Going on. Okay. There is a little disturbance happening somewhere.
The guy trying to get out of the trunk.
अच्छा जी, अगर आपकी इजाजत हो तो आगे बढ़े.
Please, ma'am, sorry.
Okay, please mute yourselves. Please mute yourselves. Acha ji. Now, the next person I would like to introduce, or to all of you, is me, Vinay. 61 batch, Sivalikan. I'm reading in English. The poem was inspired by the season. I'm here in the fall. In America, in the fall is very important. I'm here in the fall, autumn, a time of festivity. Trees turning all shades of gold and crimson, but leaving also a bit of sadness, a little something unsaid. So here's my poem. My poem's called Fallen Leaves. Hey, blowing wind, why this question that you ask of me? Do we not fall every autumn? We drift. It's time for us to go. You, the wind, help us, you know. This is our end. Fallen leaves and more falling. The tree outside my window is almost bare. It clings on to some. Did they birth at the end of spring? Are they allowed to stay connected to the tree just a bit longer? I'm thinking about the connection. When they appear again as tiny, tight green buds on a tree that looked stark through the winter, dry as though it had given up. No part looked alive. Bereft branches reach up to the sky, unmoving silhouettes. Leaves and thin branches shed. The tree is rooted but dead. Harsh winds have blown leaves onto my balcony. Yet lifeless, I hate walking on them, scrunching them underfoot. The crackling sound, like that from a burning pyre, makes me think of the beautiful human now dead, oblivious, unknowingly weighed under heaps of wood, consumed by flames. The beauteous fallen leaves that drifted up against my door ask the eternal question, why? Why this cycle? We come, we live, and sometimes we are alive, but not living. And then, fortunately, comes warmth and love. The tree triumphs yet again. All her charm is back. Thank you.
That was fantastic. The switch from autumn leaves to human life and death.
Thank you.
Vinay, that was very good. That was really very good. The manner in which you explained this fall of the leaves in autumn. Very, very well explained, all the what it means to the leaf to fall.
I've always thought that when the trees become all dry, it's like a human being. When you lose someone very dear to you, you become dry, and like, for example, you lose a parent. It's like becoming dry and dead for some time. Yes, life will come back into you again. But at that present moment or that season, it's quite sad.
And that leaf, those leaves are gone. It is new leaves which will come. The tree remains, but that lot is gone. The life remains.
I also got the sense of how, the tree is in some way a personification of the spirit of mankind or the spirit of a person. And the leaves are remnants of various physicalities which come and go, but the core stays alive. That's what I got from this. Is that something you were intending?
Kind of, yes.
But that was lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Pankaj, yes?
Just a thought, ma'am, when the way you narrated it is that the tree goes through these seasons, but the tree remains through these seasons. And so a tree actually lives many human lives. It lives innumerable human lives.
And strongly. It lives through it with strength. Yeah.
Vinay, that was excellent.
Shashi, thank you so much. That was so sweet of you.
For a change, I sat through the whole thing. For a change, incidentally, Vinay and me joined school at the same time, and we 53 to 61. So we've
Shashi, this is Shashi, Shashi Hora at school, and Shashi Baba now.
Himalaya House.
Yay!
Well done, Himalaya.
Another
Shashi, who's the?
Yes, finally.
Shashi, can I ask a question? I can see a photograph behind.
Yeah.
Who's the young, handsome person there?
That's my husband, Commodore Baba. He is from 19th course. And that was the cup he got for sports or something all rounder. I don't remember. Anyone,
excellent.
all much younger. He is 19th course NDA. And Sandhu, you must be much younger, much younger.
Oh, I must be. I am. But I was one in Sanar. I was one batch junior to you. I'm
one
62.
batch junior.
To you.
Okay, 62.
Your husband is senior, more
Yeah,
senior.
yeah, my husband obviously senior. Yeah, he was a JP Pandey, JP Soin and all.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then, yeah.
No, I got that. 19 course means that that's senior.
Yeah, that's it. But I've thoroughly enjoyed your meeting, Vinay, and I promise
Thank you.
we'll love it. Yeah, and we
Thank
all
you
make
so
those
much.
promises, Vinay. Our class this time,
Never.
I think. Yeah. Thank you, all of you. I really enjoyed everything. Thanks.
Vinay, your
Don't
poem.
goes yet. We've got some good ones.
Vinay, your poem also has a Sanar connect. I don't know if you recall, but I think it was in lower 4 or somewhere. Mr. Atmaram was the Hindi teacher लिखतो, and एक कविता थी, उसका title था पतझड़.
Oh, I do remember somehow.
पतझड़. It was about leaves falling in Hindi.
Yes.
I remember the title and I remember nothing else. I don't think I remembered then also. I must have failed even then. But title I know.
Srishti, are we boring you with our very serious poems?
Ma'am, not at all. They're so beautiful. It's lovely to listen to them.
Good, thank you.
Like a good girl.
The others I noticed, like Zafar is also silent. Zafar, do put in a word or two.
I'm just enjoying it. It's just amazing, especially the young lady, Srishti, from 11-year-old. I'm still fascinated by what she had to say.
Her diary, that was so beautiful.
Yeah,
that really was so beautiful.
Very mature.
Okay, G. So now we go on to the next poem. In fact, it's the last poem of the evening, which we call the Poet of the Day. And it's always a poem of some famous poet. Pankaj is going to take us through that. And for the final poem of the day, which is going to be read by Pankaj, batch of 1983. Pankaj is a powerhouse. After retiring early from a corporate career, he has focused on photography, and he does a beautiful job with that. He's a passionate scenarian and is deeply involved with his alma mater. The best part is that he's curating a book for our 175th, which is next year, Sanar turning 175. We are so proud. The book is called Tales of Sanar and will be released in October 2022. So over to you, Pankaj. Please give a short intro about your poem, about the poem you're going to read.
Thank you, ma'am. And thank you for this opportunity. This is the second time I'm presenting the Poet of the Day. And today I present the poet-writer Sharad Joshi, a name that is at once inspires a chuckle and a smile. Sharad Joshi was born on 21st of May 1931 in Ujjain, MP, to Srinivas and Santi Joshi. He was the second child in the family of 2 sons and 4 daughters. He started writing very early in his childhood. In the late 50s, when Sharad Joshi was writing for newspapers and radio in Indore, he met and married Irfana Siddiqui. She was a writer, radio artist, and a theatre actress from Bhopal. Most Indians, especially those in the Hindi belt, have grown up enjoying his satire and wit, his pointed political and social barbs, and his magical way of saying things. He relocated to Bombay in the 80s, and from 85 to 91, he wrote the column Pratidin for Navbharat Times and dialogues in scripts for Hindi films and television. So good was his command on his language that writers till today have failed to translate his work into English. In fact, when his column Pratidin crossed all parameters of popularity and doubled the circulation of the newspaper, the Times Group decided to publish an English version of the same in the Times of India. It was given a try over and over again, but no one could do justice to the thought, and the idea had to be dropped. In a career spanning over 30 years, he penned 4,500 articles. His plays Ek Tha Ghada, Andhon Ka Hati, and Kundan Shah directed TV sitcom Ye Jo Hai Zindagi remain the most popular for their satire and timeless humor. He had what you call a dry sense of humor. While reading on stage, he would be poker-faced, not even giving away a smile, while the audience would be in splits. He was awarded the Padam Shri in 1990. He left us all on 5th September 1991. Someone who summed up his persona says, Dil mein dard, chehre pe hasi, aur kalam mein vyang. Today's poem is titled Pani Ki Samasya. I won't say anything more about the poem, just a small little hint that it was written just a few months after the Congress had a landslide victory in 1984 general elections. And a word of caution on Sharad Joshi's unique style of poetry writing. Definitely it's atypical because it's difficult to classify it into prose or poetry. It's more like a conversation. So ladies and gentlemen, पानी की समस्या. वे लोग जो टीवी देखते हैं अच्छी तरह जानते हैं कि हमारे प्रधानमंत्री यूं ही किसी चीज का विश्वास नहीं कर लेते हैं जब तक वो चीज अपनी आंख से नहीं देख लेते हैं. सीइंग इज बिलीविंग. इसलिए गांव-गांव, कस्बे-कस्बे दौरा करते हैं और साथ में टेलीविजन वालों को भी ले जाते हैं ताकि वो भी देख लें, सच्चाई का पता लगाते हैं. यही उनके काम करने की शैली है. जैसे एक गांव में पानी की कमी थी, प्रधानमंत्री स्वयं वहां गए और सच्चाई का पता लगाया. वार्तालाप कुछ इस प्रकार से हुआ. प्रधानमंत्री: सुना आपके गांव में गरीबी है? जी साहब. कितने गरीब हैं गांव में? जी सभी गरीब हैं. आप में से ज्यादा गरीब कितने हैं? गांव वाले एक दूसरे का मुंह देखने लग गए. जी सभी ज्यादा गरीब हैं, एक सोशल वर्कर ने कहा. उन्हें जवाब देने दीजिए, आप बीच में मत बोलिए. इस गांव में पॉपुलेशन क्या है? कितने लोग रहते हैं इस गांव में? जी कोई 70 फैमिलीज होंगी, कलेक्टर बोला. आई वांट एग्जैक्ट फिगर्स. 69.5. हैं? 0.5 कैसे? जी एक फैमिली है, उसमें वाइफ यही है, हस्बैंड शहर चला गया. प्रधानमंत्री ने डायरी में नोट किया. आप लोग पानी पीते हैं? जी हजूर पीते हैं. इस गांव में कितने लोग पानी पीते हैं? जी सब पीते हैं. प्यास लगती है हजूर तो पीना पड़ता है. कहां से आता है पानी? नदी से लाते हैं. क्यों, आपके यहां नलके नहीं? जी नहीं. नदी यहां से कितनी दूर है? थोड़ी दूर है. कैसे लाते हैं पानी? मटकी में भर के लाते हैं. मटकी घर से ले जानी पड़ती है या नदी पर मिल जाती है? जी घर से ले जानी पड़ती है. आई सी. एक नदी में कितनी मटकी पानी होता है? काफी मटकी होता है. आई वॉन्ट टू सी अ मटकी. एग्जैक्ट क्या साइज होती है? प्रधानमंत्री ने कहा. फौरन एक घर से एक मटकी लाकर प्रधानमंत्री को दिखाई. ये मिट्टी से बनती है? जी. हम मिट्टी इंपोर्ट करते हैं या यहीं की है? जी लोकल मिट्टी है. गुड. उस एक मटकी में कितना बकेट पानी आ जाता है? कोई 1.5 बाल्टी आ जाता है. आप बड़ी मटकी लेके क्यों नहीं जाते ताकि ज्यादा पानी आ जाए? जी उठाने में भारी पड़ती है. एक बार में कितनी मटकी उठाते हैं? जी एक उठाते. आप खुद उठाते हैं या दूसरे आपके लिए उठाते हैं? जी खुद उठाते हैं. कितने आदमी लगे हैं इस काम पर? जी सभी लगे हैं. नदी में 24 घंटे पानी मिलता है या कोई फिक्स टाइम है? इतने बजे से इतने बजे तक. जब मिलता है तब 24 घंटे मिलता है. आजकल कितने घंटे मिल रहा है? आजकल तो नदी सूख गई है. जब नदी सूख जाती है तब कितने घंटे मिलता है? तब नहीं मिलता, 1-2 घंटे भी नहीं। नहीं। प्रधानमंत्री सोचने लगे, फिर कलेक्टर से पूछा, ये नदी सूख क्यों जाती है? सर, गर्मियों में एटमॉस्फेरिक टेम्परेचर बढ़ जाता है, उससे सूख जाती है। कांट वी हैव सम शेड और समथिंग जो नदी के ऊपर लगा दें जिससे छाया रहे? नो सर, इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल। क्यों? वी कैन टॉक टू वर्ल्ड बैंक, इन सारी नदियों पर शेड लगा दें, खासकर उन नदियों पर जो गांव के पास हैं। सर, उसमें प्रैक्टिकल डिफिकल्टीज हैं। क्या डिफिकल्टी है? क्या है सर? एक तो नदी का स्पैन बहुत चौड़ा होता है, उसको कवर करना बहुत मुश्किल है। दूसरा, नदी के आसपास के सॉइल कंडीशन के कारण उसमें पिलर खड़े करना बहुत डिफिकल्ट है। आई सी। तभी दूसरा अफसर जो इस अफसर के ज्यादा बात करने की वजह से परेशान था, बोला, दूसरी प्रॉब्लम यह है सर कि अगर हम नदी को कवर कर देंगे तो बरसात में जो पानी नदी में गिरता है वो नहीं गिर पाएगा। प्रधानमंत्री ने गर्दन हिलाई, वो प्रॉब्लम समझ गए। सामने खड़े प्यासे गांव वाले क्या बात हो रही है ये तो समझ नहीं पा रहे थे, मगर उन्हें इतना समझ आ रहा था कि प्रधानमंत्री उनकी पानी की समस्या को लेकर बहुत चिंतित हैं और वे अफसरों से इस बारे में बात कर रहे हैं। प्रधानमंत्री ने फिर गांव के लोगों से पूछा, जब नदी से पानी नहीं मिलता तो आप वहां मटकी लेकर क्यों जाते हैं? हम कुएं पर जाते हैं साहब, नदी पर नहीं। कुएं में पानी मिलता है जब नदी में नहीं होता? जी। एक कुएं से कितना पानी मिल जाता है? पूरे गांव को मिल जाता है? काफी मिल जाता है साहब। आप लोगों को कौन सा पानी ज्यादा अच्छा लगता है, नदी का या कुएं का? जी, जहां से मिल जाए वहीं का अच्छा लगता है। नदी के पानी में थोड़ा कचरा होता है साहब। फिर आप क्या करते हैं? नदी को छान लेते हैं। पूरी नदी तो नहीं छान पाते, हम जो पानी लेते हैं उसे छान लेते हैं, बाकी को छोड़ देते हैं। जी साहब। और नदी से क्या क्या मिलता है पानी के अलावा? सब एक दूसरे को देखने लग गए, किसी को जवाब नहीं सूझा। नदी से पानी मिलता है, पर इसके अलावा क्या क्या मिलता है? प्रधानमंत्री ने दोहराया। पुल मिलता है नदी पर? जी नहीं। बांध मिलता है नदी पर? जी कोई बांध नहीं है। इट इज वेरी सरप्राइजिंग, आफ्टर 40 years ऑफ इंडिपेंडेंस नदी पर एक बांध नहीं है। एक अफसर ने हिम्मत करके कहा, सर, 6th प्लान में नदी पर बांध बनाने का प्रपोजल था, फिर क्या हुआ? सर्वे करने पर पता चला कि नदी में पानी नहीं है, इसलिए बांध बनाना फिजूल होगा। हम इतना भी पानी अरेंज नहीं कर सकते कि एक बांध बनाया जा सके? प्रधानमंत्री ने कहा। अफसरों ने शर्म से सिर झुकाया। प्रधानमंत्री ने मुख्यमंत्री की ओर देखा। मुख्यमंत्री ने अपनी टोपी ठीक करी, थोड़ा खांसे और फिर बोले, मैंने आपसे दिल्ली में ही निवेदन किया था श्रीमान कि नदी के पानी को लेकर इंटर स्टेट डिस्प्यूट है। 1967 में इस समस्या पर एक हाई पावर कमीशन बैठा था जिसकी सिफारिशें रिजेक्ट कर दी गईं। मैंने कांग्रेस अधिवेशन में भी ये सवाल उठाया था श्रीमान। कमीशन इस नदी पर बांध बनाने के लिए था? प्रधानमंत्री ने पूछा। जी नहीं, वो दूसरी नदी पर था। मैं आपसे इस नदी के बारे में पूछ रहा हूं। प्लानिंग कमीशन कहता है कि जिन नदियों में पूरे वर्ष पानी नहीं रहता वहां हम बांध बनाने को प्रायोरिटी नहीं दे सकते क्योंकि उससे बिजली नहीं बनेगी। प्रधानमंत्री कुछ सोचने लगे। मामला उलझा हुआ है, कंप्यूटर में फीड करना पड़ेगा। फिर वो लोगों की तरफ मुड़े। कितने कुएं हैं आपके गांव में? जी एक भी नहीं। फिर आप मटकी लेके कहां जाते हैं? पास वाले गांव में। वहां कुआं है, पानी मिल जाता है? मिल जाता है, मगर भीड़ बहुत है साहब। वो गांव कितनी दूर है? 2 मील पड़ता है। लौटने पर भी 2 मील पड़ता है? जी उतना ही पड़ता है। जाने के लिए कोई साधन है? बस, टैक्सी? जी नहीं, कोई साधन नहीं, पैदल जाना पड़ता है। प्रधानमंत्री के चेहरे पे पीड़ा की रेखाएं उभर आईं। उन्होंने अफसरों से पूछा, क्या इन दोनों गांव के बीच हम बस सर्विस की व्यवस्था नहीं कर सकते पानी लाने के लिए? उस शाम एक विराट जनसभा में को संबोधित करते हुए प्रधानमंत्री बोले, एंड नाउ प्रधानमंत्री जैसे बोले वैसे मैं बोलूंगा। हमने देखा और हम आगे भी देखेंगे कि आपके गांव में समस्या है पानी की। पंडित जी कहते थे, इंदिरा जी ने बताया, और अब हमें इसे देखना है। लोगों को, खासकर महिलाओं को, दूसरे गांव से पानी लाना पड़ता है मटकी में भरकर। हमने देखा कि पानी सिर पर उठाकर लाना पड़ता है। हम चाहते हैं कि हमारे देश में हर गांव के पास एक नदी हो, खासकर उन गांवों के पास जहां पानी नहीं है। हम देखेंगे कि आप लोगों को मटकी ना उठाना पड़े। या तो गांव नदी के पास ले जाएं, या तो नदियों को गांव के पास लाया जाए। जो भी जरूरी है हम करेंगे, सरकार करेगी। और भी समस्या जैसे बस चलाने की या बांध की, सब हम पूरी करेंगे। वो हमें बड़ी जल्दी करना है। इस बारे में हमें कुछ करना है। देश में पानी ही पानी कर देना है, वो चाहे नदी का हो या बरसात का या समुद्र का। हम चाहते हैं और हम कोशिश करेंगे कि आपके यहाँ बरसात जल्दी आए या नदी में पानी जल्दी आए, या जैसा भी हो सके। हम बैंकों से भी बात करेंगे कि मटकियों के सवाल पर जितना भी कर सकें करें। हमें देश को आगे बढ़ाना है। इस पर एक युवक जो अगले चुनाव में कांग्रेस के टिकट पे उम्मीदवार था, जोर से चिल्लाया, राजीव गांधी की। इस पर सबने जय कहा और प्रधानमंत्री का कारवां दूसरे गांव को रवाना हो गया उनकी समस्या समझने। थैंक यू।
You can unmute yourselves. And this was hilarious, absolutely hilarious. I can't get over it. I mean,
It was delivered very well also.
this is absolutely the microcosm of what governments are all about. Pankaj, well done, well performed.
No, it's Sharad Joshi, ma'am. I just read it out.
I know, but well performed, I said.
Pankaj, that reminds me of a book, a very famous book by a very famous author called Everybody Loves a Drought.
Sainath.
Sainath. A request to all of you, please go and read it. Number one, you'll understand all farmer issues. And number two, you'll understand how governments work and how government have grounded farmers into the ground. Please read that book.
That was hilarious.
Pankaj, absolutely super.
Thank you, sir.
I think, I don't know, it got me thinking.
I like the way it was at the same time humorous and at the same time absolutely in your face about what is the reality of things. I love the way you put it out there.
And the tragedy.
The voice.
The tragedy. Actually, the tragedy that it is.
But Sharad Joshi was like that, so.
I think Mr.
No, but you did justice to him. You really did justice to him, the way you delivered this entire poem.
Very good.
Small, can I make
good job.
You know, now I'm sure you'll all agree. This was 84. This is 22 almost. Nothing has changed. The politician.
Rajiv Gandhi is gone.
No, that he is gone. Rajiv
Somebody else
Gandhi
has
is
stepped
gone.
in his shoes, though.
And
Rahul.
many of his imagery has come, and still is, what is it? Selling. What all? Anyway, I shouldn't say that. Not correct for me to say that.
I'm
But
not sure whether the situation is still as bad, but I don't know.
anyway,
No,
we all
I
have a
don't
different
think.
views.
Pankaj,
I
I
don't
think
think it
that,
is.
I'm not
I
talking
don't
about
think
I'm not
I
talking
don't
about
think the
situation
situation
being
is as
bad.
bad.
I'm talking
Mr.
about the
Pro,
politicians.
Mr. Pro,
I'm
I
talking
think
about politicians per se.
I
Leave
think
your Chota
They
Hazari
are still
also.
selling. They
I,
go there and say we'll do this, that, and the other, and nothing happens.
let
I
us
think in the next poetry session, we should get all our Sonarian, OS Sonarian politicians.
Totalas.
we should have
Have
another session, I guess. This session.
Yeah.
I
That
was
will be a Q&A.
Listen, I was trying to invite your attention to a gentleman in one corner, Mr. Vishish, who said he's not a Sanarian, but his son is at Sanar and his daughter was there. Can we just welcome him? Mr. Vishish, can you unmute yourself?
Thank you so much. A very good evening to all of you by Indian Standard Time. As I requested, I am strictly not an OS. Thank you for letting me in. I just got a link on the parents group and I thought I'll join. Should I say I enjoyed the evening? Absolutely. I have no
Please
words to say.
do. Please
Yes,
do.
you must say that, sir.
And I have, sir, and I'll say it in different forms as you allow me more. It is very difficult to recite anything at the end of such a beautiful session by everybody. मैं फिर भी थोड़ी सी गुस्ताखी करूंगा आपकी इजाजत से. छोटे छोटे कपलेट्स हैं, एक आध मैं सुनाऊंगा, उसके बाद अगर आप झेल पाएंगे तो एक आध और सुनाऊंगा, वरना फिर नमस्कार हो जाएगी. I'll begin.
Irshad.
शुक्रिया.
Please.
This is one of my favorite ones, and थोड़ी गुस्ताखी है इसके अंदर भी. आप सभी को संबोधित है. It is addressing the word at large, and then it's addressing somebody special also. It says, शेर तुझ पे लिखे और फीके कर दिए. शेर तुझ पे लिखे और फीके कर दिए, यूं ही किसी किसी को सुनाया कर दिए. तू होता जाने तोलता कैसे कैसे. तू होता जाने तोलता कैसे कैसे, शिद्दत की बेसब्री ने अक्सर जाया कर दिए. One more. It again is addressed to somebody who is not there. It says, तुझसे न सही.
तुझसे न सही. आगे.
I think
तुझसे न सही, तुझ पे ही कहूँ, कभी तो तुझ तक पहुंचेगा, कैसे और कहाँ मालूम नहीं. यकीन मगर जाता ही नहीं. शिद्दते बेइंतहा फिजूल नहीं. रूहे बेसब्र यूं ही मशगूल नहीं. कभी न कभी बेसाख्ता सा, कहीं न कहीं बेतहाशा सा, तू भी मुझ तक पहुंचेगा. तुझसे न सही, तुझ पे ही कहूँ, कभी तो तुझ तक पहुंचेगा. I'll rest it for now.
Fantastic.
Wow, very good.
Very
That
good.
was very nice. Very good indeed.
Thank you so much.
That was very
Thank you
good.
so much. Thank you so much.
So,
please.
So we would love to have you join us next time, Vishesh sir.
Would be wonderful. Ma'am, my name is Vatsal. I'd love if you call me Vatsal.
Okay, Vatsal. आप
Yes,
जरूर हमारे साथ please do join us. We'll really be very honored, and
Thank
we
you
will
so
send
much.
you an invite and give you enough time to write and recite with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So everybody, thank you so much for joining us this evening. It makes it very special. Of course, we are greedy. We'd always like more participants. So whoever can bring more, 5 more each would be just wonderful. As I said, we're just greedy. We want everybody to hear what we have to say. If any of you would like to become members who are not members at the moment, please reach out to any one of us. We can add you in into our group. And now the floor is open. You're all welcome. And as Sanarians, please create some cup and let's hear from everyone.